ナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツ。ngôn hi shi me jo do 시간 불만족 세이프 조쇼응악 나오무려울걸 후이다이세슈 후사이쇼빙구 세이프 조쇼응악 나시절분도 멸쇼조지법 극결미셔먼 세이프 조쇼각 리역진쇼냄 조회수번결 싱음의 절도 이쇼텐닌시 진리기엔 다이골 부쇼무사이도 쇼조산금요 고산슈야근함 가이히치행엔 메시콘모란 해석쇼악도 쯔닷젠슈몬 고소조만족 이오로지법 니치간슈즈키 덴콜 온불겜 이슈카이호조 고세쿠도쿠호 조다이슈즈 세포시시쿠 그요이사이붓 그소크슈토크혼 nganneshinjoman tokuisangayo nyobunmungechi tsudatmihusho ngangakuerik toshisaishoson shinganyakoka大勢の感動国書天人と珍妙家ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブがに しく読平等聖祭道本も大心おうじょうあなこ Namanda, Tsamanda, 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 Tsamanda. Please join me in Gasho. The debt of gratitude I owe to Amida's great compassion, I will proclaim until my life disintegrates to dust. The debt of gratitude I owe to my Dharma teachers, I will express until my bodily form is finally shattered. Namanda, 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 Namanda. Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful fall day today where I am. In America, this coming Thursday will be our Thanksgiving holiday. For many of us, this signals the beginning of the many holidays that are celebrated during the winter months. For many of us, this means being able to celebrate with family and friends and to gorge ourselves on big meals of delicious turkey and all of the side dishes that go with it. I know I always look forward to feasting with my family during this time. This year is going to be different for a lot of us. The CDC has advised all of us that for the safety of others and for the purposes of our own health, we must rethink how we spend Thanksgiving this year. It is very sad, and for many of us, we are upset that we will not get to spend this year with our loved ones and to feast on delicious food while we all catch up about our lives. However, we also have to remember that there are those who do not have family they can lean upon during these hard times. We also have to remember that there have been many who are less fortunate than all of us or than any of us, and don't get to have giant turkey dinners or to be able to have warm beds to sleep in at night. I hear many yelling and complaining lately that we aren't able to spend time or able to spend this one Thanksgiving or Christmas the way we want to. However, have any of us stopped and considered just how lucky we are if we have plans that we have to miss on this year? Don't misunderstand me. I am just as upset as the next person who doesn't get to fly home and see relatives and pal around. It is going to be very hard for me. This isn't to invalidate the feelings of being upset or sad by this change of plans. I am asking us that we put our minds in the perspective of those who have never been to a Thanksgiving dinner before or never known a Thanksgiving with family. I'm asking us to deeply consider how we may have taken our families for granted during these times. I am asking all of us to take a pause, breathe, alone where there is no one around, of course, and reflect on what we still have to be thankful for. What are you thankful for? It sounds cliche and somewhat rhetorical to ask this question during the Thanksgiving holiday. However, perhaps this year, this question may be very important to consider, especially for those who are used to lavish Thanksgiving feasts and large families that we go home to for the holidays. We are being asked to think and act on behalf of others very, very seriously during this holiday. One of the greatest actions we can do during this time is to take these health warnings seriously and realize that our actions, my actions, your actions, all of our actions will have some type of effect on others. Whether or not one person chooses to wear a mask, whether or not a family decides to go home and gather with extended relatives, well, ultimately, this decision you have to make is for yourself to make and for me to make. I ask all of us to take the consideration of others into account. I sometimes think that in our American culture, we tend to have this me first kind of attitude. I have heard many people saying things like, the government can't tell me what to do, or it can't tell me to do this or that, or I'm young and healthy, I'm not afraid of catching this virus, I will just get over it and get on with my life. This is bonno, or blind passions. The delusion that we somehow have ultimate independence in the decisions that we make and the actions that we do. One more reminder, we do not live in vacuums. In terms of us as followers of the Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, let me say now, you are all probably frustrated, angry, and tired of living like this. Our kleshas, our blind passions, sometimes drive us insane because we can't do what we want to do when we want to do it. I have found myself fantasizing many times of taking a great, nice vacation when all of this is done, and probably somewhere in Reno or Lake Tahoe, and escape to this luxury hotel that's probably in the woods somewhere. And then, of course, with my brother Kazuo, we'll probably go gambling and play cards and everything, and just watch movies, play video games. That's all I want to do, That's all in my head. And that is bonno. That is my blind passion. However, when I am jolted back to reality, I am made aware again and again, that this crisis is not over. The risk of getting infected is still too high. Coming to this realization that I am not the center of the universe, and that the world or the people around me do not revolve around me, is the working of Amida. There are still many things to be thankful for. Everyone's situation is different, but I am certain all of us can think of many things in our lives to be thankful and grateful for. For me, and hopefully for all of the followers of the Nembutsu path, I hope that ultimately we are grateful that the wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha has never abandoned us, nor will it cease to work for our benefit. Even though some of us may not be able to return home this year to see our friends and loved ones, the Nembutsu is always with us. Whether we are with many family members, laughing and enjoying each other's company, or if we have to isolate in a tiny apartment, Amida Buddha is still with us. Shinran made this point to us very clearly and sometimes very sternly. For those of us who are unable to go home this year, why not try to support a local charity or a local shelter with donations to help those who are less fortunate than you are? This is me suggesting this not because I think you will become more enlightened if you did, but because this year has been hard on many people, and many people have lost their livelihoods because of this change in our lives. We don't become saints or better people even when we donate to the temple, or when we donate to charitable causes, or when we donate to local homeless shelters. However, I do believe that there is a part of us that comes to the realization that we don't exist alone in this world. without the assistance or the support of others. If one is in a position to help, I sincerely hope they choose to, not because of a reward or a merit tally that they can keep track of, but because this is a hard time for a lot of people, and because if there are those who are able to help during difficult times as these, I believe that is one of the ways forward out of these dark times that seem to be hanging around us. So as I close this message, I ask us all again to think on what we are grateful for. What are the good things in your life that continue to inspire you to keep going and continue to develop yourself? As we shed our tears for the missing of loved ones, and as we prepare ourselves for the harsh winter that is to come in the days ahead, let us take a brief moment to pause and reflect, and then say the Nembutsu. So with that, I would like to close my Dharma message. I would like to thank you all for once again continuing to tune in and to attend. Please stay safe during this holiday season. I know I sound repetitive, but please really consider your actions this holiday season. Know that you staying home, or maybe you wearing a mask when you go out, can definitely save a life. I know that sounds corny, it sounds extreme, but it's kind of true. I ask all of you, once again, to really think about your actions, to really think about what's really good for you, or what's the difference between something that you just want or that makes you comfortable, or something that you know that needs to actually be done. So I ask you all to please heavily consider this. And then once you come to the realization that sometimes the actions that we take, or the actions that we do, or the decisions that we make may not be ones that make us 100% happy, right? You know, maybe it's going to save a life. And maybe you can live with that. I hope you can. So with that in mind, I ask you all to once again reflect on what, I keep saying in my Dharma talks, right? What wisdom and compassion from Amida Buddha. Wisdom and compassion from Amida Buddha, right? What good is that wisdom and compassion if it doesn't affect us in some way in this life, right? What good is that wisdom and compassion if it doesn't inspire us to make sometimes difficult decisions that we know we may not like, but will guide us to a better and a healthier future, right? That is what it means, in my personal opinion, to gain wisdom and compassion from Amida Buddha. It's all coming from other power. But if I just throw it away and don't do anything with it, and if I just ignore it or whatever, I'm rejecting that wisdom and compassion from Amida Buddha. So I ask you all, please, to heavily consider this. And then once again, maybe we can really reflect and then be grateful that we are in Amida Buddha's grasp, Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. So I really apologize for sounding kind of preachy again in my Dharma talk, but I think that we need to start thinking a little more critically, and we need to start probably having some more difficult conversations in the days ahead. We need to start having these serious talks. Otherwise, I'm not doing my job, I think, as a minister by, not addressing some of these really harsh times that we're in. So with that, I would like to ask all of you to please join me in Gassho as we say the name of Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Nam Mandats, Nam Mandats, Nam Mandats, Nam Mandats. To conclude this service, I would like to recite Renyo Shonin's Shonin Ichiryusho. Shonin Ichiryu no go kanke no omomuki wa shinjin no motte honto serare soro. Sono yue wa moromoro no zogyo o nage sutete isshin ni mida ni kimyo o sureba. 不可思議の眼力として仏の方より往生は事情せしめたも。そのくらいを一年発起入症状始終とも釈し、その上の称名念仏た如来我が往生を定めたまいし、ご恩法人の念仏と心べきなり、あなかしこ、あなかしこ。